If you listen to the first episode, you already know this podcast is here to cut through the noise and give you the kind of IT insights that move your business forward without overwhelming you with technical jargon. Today, I want to talk about something every growing company feels but rarely named out loud. Those silent IT gaps that quietly slow things down, create friction, and keep you from scaling the way you want. I see this all the time. A founder comes to me and says, Wesley, we are growing, but it still feels like we're dragging a weight behind us. And 9 times out of 10, it's not because the team isn't good or the ambition isn't there. It's because their IT foundation grew messy over time. Tools were added reactively, processes were never aligned, security became an afterthought. And before they knew it, they're building a company on top of cracks they can't see until something breaks. So, today, let's shine a light on those cracks, not to scare you, but to show you where the real opportunities are to regain control, boost productivity, and make growth feel smooth instead of chaotic. One of the biggest silent gaps shows up in collaboration. Many companies think they're collaborating well because they have Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace. But the tools only tell half the story. What really matters is how your team uses them. I walked into businesses where half the company stores files in Teams, the other half dumps everything on a local server, and one brave soul keeps a private archive on their laptop. And all of them think this is normal. When you fix this, when you define a single place for documents, a structure everyone understands, and a rhythm for communication, you'll be amazed how much smoother everything becomes. People stop losing time searching for things. They stop double doing work. Meetings become shorter because context is easier to share. It's not glamorous, but it's transformative. Another silent gap lives in automation. Most SMBs still run far too many manual processes. Someone copies data from one tool to another, someone else manually sends the same emails every week, another person keeps track of renewals in a spreadsheet they never quite trust. You can feel the inefficiency, but it becomes part of the daily routine. So you learn to live with it. The truth is, this is where automation delivers the biggest return. You don't need a full blown digital transformation. You just need to identify the 5 or 6 repetitive tasks that drain your time and hand them over to the tools that never get tired, never forget, and never miss a deadline. When an SMB starts automating small pieces, employees suddenly have hours back every week. And that gives them mental space to innovate, sell, and support customers instead of firefighting. Security is another area where gaps stay invisible until the day they don't. Growing businesses usually assume they're too small to get hacked, and that's exactly what hackers count on. What I often find is a mix of outdated antivirus, passwords stored in plain text somewhere, admin rights everywhere, and backup systems that nobody has tested in years. And I'm not judging. Everyone is busy and nobody wakes up excited to review their security posture. But there's the thing, when your business is growing, your risk grows with it. More users, more devices, more apps, more data. All of it increases your exposure. The good news is that modern security tools for SMBs have become incredibly smart and affordable. You can get enterprise-grade protection without enterprise headaches. You just need a baseline to set up. Strong identity protection, endpoint security with AI capabilities, automated backup, and a clear policy on who can access what. Once this foundation is in place, you're already far ahead of the majority of SMBs out there. Here is another silent gap, the mismatch between business growth and IT scalability. A lot of companies still operate on systems that were chosen years ago when they were smaller, leaner, and dealing with less complexity. But what happens when your team doubles, when collaboration spreads across multiple locations, when customers expect faster response times and better digital experiences? That's when the cracks in outdated systems start to show. The solution isn't always to rebuild everything, it's often to modernize key components gradually, move workloads to the cloud, centralize identity, standardize devices, create a proper onboarding and offboarding flow, and make sure your IT grows at the same speed as your company. When you align technology with your business goals, growth becomes predictable instead of stressful. The last hidden gap I want to talk about is visibility. So many companies fly blind when it comes to their IT. They don't know the status of their licenses. They don't know which devices are compliant. They don't know how data moves across an organization, and they don't have a clear picture of their risks. Without visibility, you're always reacting, never anticipating. And that's not a position any growing business wants to be in. When you start using dashboards, monitoring tools, and analytics, you suddenly see your business with clarity. You know where to invest, where to trim, where to tighten security, where to scale. Visibility is the difference between hope-based growth and strategy-based growth. So, how do you start fixing these silent gaps? You don't need a full audit tomorrow. You just need awareness. Look at your daily frustrations. That's usually where the inefficiency hides. Look at the moments that feel chaotic. That's where processes break down. Look at security incidents in the news. That's a reminder that nobody is immune. And look at your biggest goals for the next year. Those will show you where IT needs to support you instead of slowing you down. The message I want to leave you with is simple. A growing business doesn't need perfect IT, it needs aligned IT. Tools that work together, processes that support people, automation that takes away friction, security that protects without getting in the way, and visibility that lets you make confident decisions. When you start addressing these hidden gaps, even one at a time, you create a foundation strong enough to support real sustainable growth. And once that foundation is in place, IT stops being a cost and becomes one of the most powerful drivers of competitive advantage you have. If this episode got you thinking about the silent gaps in your own company, good. That means you're already ahead of the most businesses out there. In the next episode, we dive into how to build a scalable IT roadmap that supports your growth for the next 12 to 24 months without overcomplicating things or blowing up your budget. Thanks for listening to IT for Growth. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, don't miss the upcoming episodes. We are just getting started.